sup? Checking out petty revenge today. They say nothing in life is sweeter than revenge, except for the sweet honeydew on your mother's lips when I kiss them. I love me some petty revenge. I've got some stories myself. One of my favorite ones is there was a guy that I used to work with. He sat next to me and this dude sucked. He was so annoying. I forget his name, but his face looked like it was melting. He was so ugly. And he was just always in my shit. He was just always just way too close for comfort. And this guy would always tattle on me if I was doing something that he thought I wasn't supposed to, right? But on the same token, he would always try to be friendly to me when we were inside of like the pit. And the pit is just the name for like the 8 desks that were like positioned in a certain way. My bad, I meant octagon, which is kind of like a pit, I guess. But this guy was always talking and he was always annoying me. And one day I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna get his ass back. His name was Steve. Fuck you, Steve, if you're watching, I hate you. This guy annoyed me so much that I was like, dude, I'm just gonna get him back one day. So I bring a Bluetooth speaker. I bring this like Bose SoundLink and I hide this thing under his desk area and I start playing the Kazoo Kid 10-hour video. So I take this speaker and I put it under his desk, but what I do is I play it at like 3% volume, right? So he's able to hear just a little bit of it, but then on the really annoying parts, I would turn it up really loud. It was just a really great way to brighten my mood at the workplace, you know what I mean? Let's see what we got. By the way, please subscribe, I love you. A customer screamed at me once, so now I eat his favorite food. When I was a university student, I worked in a little supermarket for over a year. I was 19 at the time, and since UK minimum wage or age-based, I was making very, very little. We had a really complicated machine for printing and cashing lottery tickets, and any corrections and refunds had to be signed off by the manager, who was never around when we needed him. Typical, right? Cashing one ticket alone took something like 15 steps. It was wild. So for the first few weeks, I was quite slow at it in order to avoid making any mistakes. Well, on my second day there, an old guy turned up, and in addition to some food, he wanted a few lottery tickets. He didn't appreciate my lack of speed and leaned in to about 8 inches away from my face to scream, "Yes!" when I tried to check if the numbers I was about to print off were correct. Wait, what did he do? He leaned in and went, "Yes!" People in retail definitely like violate your personal space, and especially old people too. I don't know why. Maybe it's like, the boundaries just like disappear with time or something, or like their personal boundaries, but it's like old people in general, they tend to get really, really close. And it sucks because like they never like finish you off, you know what I mean? Oh, clap my ass, Billy. In retrospect, it really wasn't that big of a deal, but I was young and very small, so his screaming and towering over me was enough to make me feel upset and afraid. He looked very pleased with himself for making the young girl earning a few pounds an hour tremble with fear. I'd already had a bit of retail experience under my belt from a prior job, but that day I cried in the employee bathrooms for the very first time. The job was not great, so I was brought to tears by customers a few more times during my time there, but I was broke and a fast learner, so I was always available for overtime. I ended up working 45 to 55 hours a week, and the guy turned out to be a regular, which meant that he had absolutely known that I was new, and I got to serve him often over the next year or so. Joy. Wait, hold on. So this person had retail experience, and it was one person that was like standing over there. Wait, what? Okay, I was confused because I was like, I don't really understand why the hell you're freaking out, but it's like a young person, and it's an old guy about lottery tickets. I've never worked retail in that regards, but I would imagine anything to do with lottery tickets or gambling in general, I would imagine that shit sucks. I've been to a casino a bunch of times, and generally people act like assholes and they think that you're the person, you know, that's like stealing their money.
Oh, I spent my money gambling and now I have none. It's your fault.
Come on, man.
I also got the hang of things and did pretty much everything else there, from training others, keeping the refrigerator's temperature log, ordering stock, logging and cleaning waste, expired items and those with a broken seal, to reducing items which had reached their sell-by date. Well, one benefit was that I learned a few things about the miser who had screamed at me, like how he was nasty to everyone working there, especially the younger ladies. No, he's just negging you, duh. How he was retired and seemingly not very well off, and how he appeared to keep track of food sell-by dates and would regularly turn up soon after certain meat-based items had been reduced for the final time. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being old or on a budget, but it's always a bad idea to scream at people just because you're having a bad day and they're not allowed to defend themselves. I gotta say, those are some words of wisdom, you know? Just by being nice, you know, people will put up with a lot of your shit if you're just like kind of nice about it, or if you're humble about it, you know what I mean? Like if you have a desperate need for like the clearance items and stuff like that, and you're nice about it, and maybe you communicate that in a friendly way, people are probably gonna try to help you out to the best of their abilities, you know what I mean? I think people are prone to being nice first before being assholes, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, you know what I mean? I get tongue worms and things get stuck in my mouth and I can't stop saying them. So if you ever hear me repeat something a million times in a video, that's why, which is weird as fuck. Especially the ones who handle your food. The other benefit was that because I was working there full time, I was the one serving him 99% of the time, which gave me ample opportunities to deliver my petty revenge. And it was going to be a slow burn, like cooking a frog, as they say. Being a broke university student, I figured that I could stick it to him and save myself a bit of money, since food price reductions stacked with my employee discount. Oh shit, hell yeah. He never screamed at me again, but for 10 months, I hid all of his nearly expired favorites behind the dairy items and purchased them for myself once he'd left in a huff after finding them gone. I didn't even care for sausages all that much, but I regularly ate something called toad in a hole. Okay. Out of sheer spite, and the vile jit probably managed to buy reduced sausages maybe 5 times in 10 months. He got visibly more and more upset over time because other shoppers had seemingly caught on to his strategy. I always nodded sympathetically. Sorry, we've sold the last ones. Maybe try again later in the week. I actually rather like Toad in a Hole now and have it as a special revenge treat. It reminds me of that time I cooked a frog for nearly a year. Damn, dude, it's been a year. I think it's done by now. Fuck. Don't scream at the people who handle your food. That is pretty fucking petty. Like, for 10 months, you denied this guy nutrition for 10 months because he yelled at you one time. He said yes 8 inches away from your face one time. That's hilarious. That's pretty petty, but I mean, I could totally see where they're coming from. You know, I've worked, like I said, quite a few retail jobs, and there's been times where I might have done things similar to this. There's been times where I've wanted to do things similar to this, and there's times that I've done things far greater than this. But it is a little bit of satisfaction every single time you get it, right? And people might want to say, oh, you can't do that, you're representing the company, but shut the fuck up, okay? Until you work a retail job, okay, I don't want to hear anything that you have to say. And remember, if you're going to somebody's place of work and acting like an asshole, okay, they can't do anything to you, okay? You have like immunity because the customer's always right? You're not that big and bad. So when somebody stands up to you in the little ways that they can, if anything, that should put you in your place just a little bit more than you should have been in the first. On the petty scale, I'm gonna give that a 4 out of 5. Maybe I'll edit something here, something fancy right here. Fancy. It's a cat now. Make it meow. Guy tried to scam me in Rome, so I threw his scam product in an inconvenient location.
Yeah, right into my asshole.
When I was in Rome, we had read about these scams people do. One of which was trying to give you free stuff, but guilt tripping you into giving them something, usually money, in return. I have heard of that. Like, they'll run up and try to put like what is it? Like a fucking bracelet? Like, I'm trying to show you my wrist like I have one on, but they'll put like a bungee band bracelet or some shit on your wrist, and then they'll be like, okay, you took it, now you have to give me money. I have heard of that. I also think pickpocketing is a really big problem in Rome too, but I'm not sure. I've never been. At one point this happened. My whole group, who I'd informed about this, fell for it. I declined to take a bracelet. I swear I didn't read this before, but there you go. It looks like it's the same scam that I had heard about before. Basically, a guy comes up and asks where we were from. When you tell him, he makes some random ass connection between there and where he is from and claims you are family, then offered to give you something from his family, and then ties these bracelets in your arm, which are hard to get off. Then he asks if you have anything for his family, holding his hand out. My son then proceeds to hand this man $20. This is what it is. He was fine with it. This wasn't the issue. This was just me having seen this scamming process, and now I was aware of how it worked in more detail. Also, we found these same identical bracelets at a small shop like 10 minutes later for about 30 cents. Damn, boy, that's a lick! Get fucked! The petty part. So the next day, I'm by myself walking by the Coliseum, and one of these guys asked me where I'm from. Knowing that he's gonna try and make a connection, I say that I'm from the moon. Beep bop. He's caught off guard, but continues his pitch anyway. I tell him I'm not interested, but he stays nagging me. I tell him over and over I'm not interested, but he keeps harassing me. Oh, it's warming up. So finally I stop, and I'm like, what is it? He says, I wanna give you something, from my family to yours, bro. That's it. And I say, for free? And he says, yeah, free, from my family to yours. And so I'm feeling petty because he's been harassing me. I take the bracelet and say thanks and immediately turn around and start walking. He dashes to catch up to me and is like, yo bro, you got anything for my family? And I say, no man, sorry, and continue walking. He then grabs me by the shoulder and looks me dead in the eye and says, give it back. And I'm like, what? He says, give it back again, more stern. The sales pitch nice guy voice is no more. For a 30-cent bracelet, this guy's gonna burn Rome down. Again. So I was like, this bracelet, to which I was holding and not wearing, and he holds out his hand. I say, this is mine, you gave it to me. I then remind him that he specifically said, free from his family. He then tries to cut me off as I'm about to cross the street. He starts swearing at me, so I take his bracelet and huck it down a 20-foot drop the ground level of the area outside the Coliseum. He could still go get it, but he would have to walk all the way around the ramp and far away from me. He then starts swearing at me, "Fuck you," over and over. He then hawks like he's gonna spit on me, and I tell him that's a very bad idea. Finally, he turns and walks away. I'll be honest with you, that was kind of a bullshit ending. I don't know why I was expecting like something great. The subreddit is literally petty revenge. Yeah, that's pretty fucking petty. But is it? I mean, the guy was scamming people, and I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of this stuff is subjective, you know what I mean? Like, was it petty? Kind of, but this guy who's making a 67 times return on his money, he buys a 30-cent bracelet, sells it for $20, or like scans it for $20. Obviously, this is proportional, but even at $1, he's still tripling his money, right? The tactics are scammy, the behavior is scammy. The guy is 100% a scammer. So knowing that, is it petty? I mean, I guess, right? There's obviously worse things you could do. You didn't even keep the bracelet because, you know, you don't want to actually be a criminal. I guess legally I have to agree with that. All I'm saying is situations are subjective, but yeah, I guess that's pretty petty. Colleague made fun of me, and in return I messed with his stuff for months. So I work in a big company as a leader of a maintenance team. One of our technical supervisors, who does kind of a planning and organizing job, sat one day in my chair at my desktop when I came in for a shift change about 6 months ago. He had messed with my chair and had it at the lowest possible position, and the angle of the backside was low, like he planned to sleep in the chair. Wait. Dude. Like that? What the fuck? Am I a piece of shit? Whatever, we already knew that. So I complained to him that I have to adjust it back, which is not a big deal, but then he started to make fun of me in a really annoying manner, calling me a crybaby, and was seriously upset about my complaint. He just didn't stop. I've already got emotions about this, man. Like, people on Reddit generally tend to be bigger crybabies than they should be, so I 100% believe that the poster here was being a little asshole about, "Oh, don't touch my chair, I mean, my poster, and whatever the hell they're saying." So I could totally believe that they behaved in a way that maybe deserves some teasing. I could totally see that. I've never participated in a technical job like that, but you know, I hear stories from, you know, construction workers, and obviously, you know, you read Reddit and you see the shit too, right? They're like, "Oh, I teased this guy," or, you know, "Frank pissed in my salad," or something.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The thing is, now that I usually work night shifts, and as I have access to his office, it's a big office for 20 people, I waited for some time and then started to mess with his stuff about 3 months ago. I pulled the plug of his mouse so it's loose multiple times. I changed the height of his hair just a bit, but enough to be realized. I rearranged the stuff on his desk, single items from left to right most of the time. I ate a drops, I guess that's a candy, and put one little drop of sugar on his return key. I loosened the screw of his armrest a bit so it wasn't fixed anymore. I exchanged the mine of a pen with an empty one. I guess that's the ink tube, I guess. I pulled about 20 pages of a post-it apart and put them back together so they barely stick anywhere, and some more. Lots of little inconveniences about 2 times a week for the last months. Okay, this one's pretty good. This one's pretty good. It's pettiness responded to with pettiness, you know what I mean? I can definitely see there's a little bit more lightheartedness to it. A little bit, right? This dude made fun of your attachment to your chair one time, and now you're harassing him for so damn long. What did he say 3 months ago? Oh my gosh. Get some thief detection powder from Amazon or elsewhere. Sprinkle it lightly where his hands will normally touch. It is very difficult to see. After he washes his hands, they will be red colored for several days. Might even cause him to seek a dermatologist and make up crazy stories to his wife. This part was cool. Ever hear of the expression "caught him red-handed"? That's where it's from. Safe-cracking thieves are caught this way. It's like gunpowder residue on a shooter's hands. Not visible to the naked eye, but that's pretty funny. That's a great idea, especially if they work a manual labor job, right? When their hands are getting dirty. You'll never be able to figure out where it came from. That's really funny. All right, I think that's it for this one. I know it's a little bit quick, but I've got a lot of stuff planned, and I wanted to make sure I made a video before I got into all the other stuff going on. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like, comment, subscribe down below, please. It would be much appreciated. And do me one more favor before you go. Check out this video right here. I think you're gonna like it.